Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized for questions.
Well, here we are. This is where I said we were going to be 3 weeks ago before the drama started. I said there would be some drama with the bright, shiny object called the SAVE Act. I said that was going to get stripped off and you were going to get a clean CR. I also predicted this would fall right before Christmas. And I believe this does fall on December 20th. Now, why have we picked December 20th? Because it's the same reason we always have December 20th. Everybody up here is human. There are no AIs or robots in Congress. And when you get to December 20th, you're 5 days from Christmas. You're 4 days from Christmas Eve. And you desperately want to be there with your family. So this is when the leadership here has the maximum influence. And again, I'm talking to the Democrats and the Republicans because you've seen it on the Democrat side of the aisle. They love to pick the week before Christmas for this showdown because you can smell the jet fuel fumes over at DCA. It smells like Christmas, that you're going to get to go home and open presents. I've been in HC5 when literally the Speaker of the House, not the Speaker we have now, walks in and says, if you vote for this, you can go home and unwrap presents with your kids, and if you don't vote for this, you're going to spend Christmas here with Nancy Pelosi. And then the chant starts, vote, 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 vote. Literally, people get enthusiastic to vote for something that they haven't read. So let me predict what we're not going to do on December 20th before I take a guess at what we're going to do. What we're not going to do, we're not going to do 12 separate bills. We are not going to spend this time. We've got a few months between now and December 20th. We could go back to working on appropriations bills. We are not going to do this. This sucker, whatever happens on December 20th, whether it's another CR to punt, to kick the can down the road for 3 more months, or whether it's an omnibus that funds all of government with one bill, it's going to be written behind closed doors, and every lobbyist in this town is going to try to attach their little thing to this bill. This train is leaving the station on December 20th. It's the only one that we know is going to pass. They call it up here must pass legislation. So everybody's going to try and get their little thing on this bill, whatever it is on December 20th, whether it's another continuing resolution or another omnibus. It's not even really a prediction that I'm making. I'm just telling you what has happened for 12 years, regardless of whether Democrats are in charge or Republicans are in charge. There may be a little twist. We may do half of a CR. It'll be a whole CR, and half of it will end in February, and half of it will end in April, and they'll convince you they got something more clever this year than they had last year. But it's going to be the same old thing, warmed over, written behind closed doors, rolled out here. We're not going to have time to read this thing. That's also predictable. And we're going to be told, vote for this and you can go home and open presents with your kids. Don't vote for it and you're going to be stuck here. And there will be people, it pulls at heartstrings. We are humans. And that's why I think it's really disingenuous or despicable, really, to pick 4 days before Christmas Eve to put this bill on the floor. The bill I'm talking about, obviously, nobody here knows what it is yet. And we're not going to have time to read it, but people are going to be inclined to vote for it because they just want to be with their family. I would encourage people not to vote for this CR. There's still time to do other things. This is not the 30th. And if we were going to do something, we should do a full year CR. Why do we want to set up a shutdown crisis the week before Christmas? Why would we even want to set up a shutdown crisis next spring? We shouldn't. We should fund the whole thing for a year. And what that would allow us to do is we could start working on, regardless of who comes into power, it would give you 12 months to work on the 12 separate bills. We could start working on those on October 1st. But we're not going to. We're not going to do any of that. We're particularly not going to have a CR that lasts more than 6 months because written into law, signed by Joe Biden, voted for by Chuck Schumer, but introduced by myself is a provision in law that says if you go past April 30th on a continuing resolution, you're going to get an automatic 1% cut to everything. Everything that's appropriated, not the mandatory, as they're called, programs. So that's why you're not going to get a CR that goes for a full year. That would, if you're going to do a CR, the most responsible thing to do would be a 1-year CR. But nobody up here can stand a 1% cut to spending. That would be like, back home, that sounds completely reasonable. But up here, that would be the end of the world to get a 1% cut. So that's why we're not getting a 1-year CR, which, if you're going to do a CR, would be the most responsible thing. And the reason you're getting a CR that ends December 20th is so you can pressure these members using their family, basically taking their Christmas hostage. And I think that's wrong, and I don't think we should do it. And I yield back.